Hello everyone, how's everybody doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone's doing amazing because I know I am. My name is Chad, I'm a motion designer and I'm learning to draw every day just to prove to people that it's not that hard. Now, why am I wearing a cap? That's a good question. And the answer to it is I cut my hair, okay? And the way I cut it is, you remember how big it was? And you know, freaking Rubus keeps calling me Mario, which is hilarious. But yeah, I cut it very short. As you can see, it's very short. And I'll give you like a, you can see here. How big my forehead is, bro. Hey yo, head reveal. Look at this. Clean, brothers, clean. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. I feel like, look at this beautiful hairline. Amazing hairline. So straight. Yeah. Anyways, this is the head right now. We're rocking that egg head for a couple of weeks. But yeah. Subscribe. Wait, I'll put this on for egghead right now. Anyways, today we're thinking we watch the video again. What's it freaking called? Maybe we watch the avocado one. Portrait. So we did the painting process. We've seen that. This is the introduction to the brushes and everything. The painting process.
The color varies. Work on shadows are mostly.
Do we watch this again or? Okay, we're gonna skip it.
Front line.
And we'll see how things go. If I feel drawing eyes, okay. We've seen the whole thing here, right?
Add placement for facial features. This may seem a bit too technical, but with practice it actually becomes easy.
Yeah.
Today's mission is to draw some sketches with these simple steps. Don't pay too much attention to face features, as I will cover all of them separately in the next videos.
Okay.
Once again, I would love to see your results, so please attach your drawings in the comments. In the next class, we're going to learn how to draw eyes, so see you in the next class.
Alright, sweet, let's draw eyes. Oh man, this is 20 minutes. Okay, we're gonna watch the whole thing. And we're gonna draw one eye, or a pair of eyes. Let's got the music.
This class will learn the structure of the eye and practice drawing them. But before we get into drawing eyes, let's get back to the head shape for a moment. Now that we know how the front and side plates of the head are formed, let's find the placement for the eyes and make it more accurate. To find the eye line, divide the head length in two. If the person is looking straight ahead, this is where the eye line usually is. The brow line and the eye line.
You know what's interesting? The foreshortening on the head can be. Wait, I need to try this because this is interesting to me. Let's switch back to Photoshop. chicken jockey. This is the dude that you see in your nightmares. I'm gonna put him here, and we're gonna try to draw a hit. Now, okay, this brush is not it, and the color is not it, so let's change that. Let's draw a pencil. Nah. Yeah, let's keep the pencil. Let's just change the color and the size. Okay. Yeah, I think this works. So for the head, so we have like our circle, right? And we have, let's say it's here, and this is here. Okay, if we're looking at a portrait or a head that's not distorted by perspective, we keep the lines like this. It's not a problem, right? This is the line here, and then we have like whatever. This is the line of the nose, right? And this is the mouth, and then another third. And then these lines, this end of the chin can be straight. We don't really care. Right? And then we drop this here. And that's it, right? And then you drop this one here. That's not bad, but what if we want to do it in perspective? Meaning that same thing here, we drop this line. However, it's like almost like this. You know what I mean? And so this one is going to be like this, or probably like this, right? So this one is going to come this way, and this one's in here, and basically that's it, right? This one, let's move it up a little bit. And so this is how it goes, and this one goes like this. Now here there's a difference. Now this is straight on, and this is in perspective. Okay, I think I see the difference. It's not that one is not valid and the other is valid. They just both work. They both work. It's just that we use one for a specific thing, for a specific pose, and the other is for another pose. You know, this is something like this, or something like this. Where everything is just going that way, as opposed to this one, pretty straightforward. Son of a gun. Well, this is not a straight line as well, right? It can't be. Yeah, it should be sort of like this. But this line is at least straight. Okay. Let's keep going.
Form an additional plane. This plane is sort of like a rooftop of the eye socket.
Okay, that's fun. So let me do it on this head. This head has sort of like this. If we want to make it extreme. And the eyeballs land in here. I love you, baby.
Let's see how it looks in actual portraits. Here I wanted to showcase a skull, as the face doesn't have a lot of muscle and the most of what we see is dictated by the form of the skull. Next is how we simplify the form into basic shapes.
Right, so that sort of like goes beyond, right?
And lastly, a finished sketch.
Wait, I don't get it. So this one goes here? Is that how it goes? That doesn't feel too...
So what we see is dictated by the form of the skull. Next is how we simplify the form into basic shapes. And lastly, a finished sketch.
Okay, oh, it's okay. So it's not in the middle.
The simplified form should show through all the details of the eye. Doesn't matter whether you're drawing a realistic or stylized portrait. When observing faces, you'll notice that some people would have a very distinguishable brow ridge, with eyes deeply inside the socket, and on some people it won't be as noticeable.
Right.
But it is still present. It is really helpful to find this plane before drawing eyes, as it helps to build a correct perspective and understand how the light works. Now let's practice drawing eyes. Usually I start with finding placement for them. Here I'm drawing a front view of the head with a sphere for the cranium and a box shape for the jaw. Or you can simply start with a sketch from previous lesson. Find the brow line using the rule of thirds. The eye line can vary from a person to person, but usually, if the person is looking straight ahead, it will be in the center.
Right, so okay. So the rhythm line that we drop in the longest method isn't really a straight line.
Start with drawing the shape of the eyebrows, and next draw a distance between the eyes. After that, I want to find the inner corners of the eye. Generally, the width of the nose and the width between the eyes will be the same. So, from a front view, we can just make a straight line up and find inner corners of the eye. Of course, we would have to discuss noses first, but that will be our next class. Just keep in mind that the distance between the eyes fits at least one eye length. Now we can draw circles first, but that will be our next class. Just keep in mind that the distance between the eyes fits at least one eye length. Now we can draw circles for the eyeballs. Next, I want to zoom in to show the lids closely. The upper lid starts with the tear duct and wraps around the eyeball. We can draw the upper lid with just 3 lines, like so. The bottom lid can be drawn with just 2 lines. One of them closer to the inner corner will be longer. The next thing is very important. Both of the lids have some thickness to them, so I want to add an additional line to indicate that. The bottom lid ends with folds underneath it on both sides. If we have our light source coming from the top, the bottom of the upper lid would always be in shadow, whereas the bottom one would be highlighted. Next, add an iris and a pupil. You can indicate the pupil with a darker tone. The iris looks like a straight circle from a front view. Usually it's covered partially by upper and bottom eyelids. We will draw eyes from different angles later, and you'll see how the form of the iris changes. The skin around the eye forms this circular mass around it. Usually it covers a part of the upper lid. Because the brow ridge hangs over the eyes, this triangular shape underneath it is almost always going to be in shadow, so I usually indicate that with some darker tone. Lastly, take a look at how the form changes, starting from the forehead plane to the temples. As the plane changes, the corners of the eye are going to catch less light, so I want to indicate that as well. Important tip: some people's eyes have their entire upper lid open. Some have the lid partially covered, and some people have their lid entirely covered. Always observe and memorize unique features in people. It will help you expand your visual library and draw more distinctive characters. Let's take a look at the eye from the side. Here I started with a side view of a basic head shape. First, I want to find a brow line and the eye line. Then draw a circle for the eyeball. Notice how the brow ridge stands out compared to the eyeball. Now let's add eyelids. From this point of view, the corners of the eyelids have a triangular shape. Don't forget that they also have thickness to them. An iris from a profile angle have an oval shape plus an additional volume from the cornea.
We're not really drawing the additional volume, are we? Are we?
The cornea is a part of the eye that covers the iris and pupil and is shaped like a contact lens. The cornea pushes the upper eyelid in a direction in which a person is looking. Let's draw an eye looking to the right. Start with a circle for the eyeball. Now, because the cornea's volume pushes the upper lid, it will be skewed to the right this time.
We're back on, right? I think we are. Chicken jockey. What the hell? We're still here, we're still here. And then, okay, we traveled in time. Scratch disk is full, obviously. That's fine. We don't need to start Photoshop. We just need to watch the video. Is that too much to ask?
This class we will learn the structure of the eye and practice drawing them. But before we get into drawing eyes, let's get back to the head shape for a moment. Now that we are looking to the right, start with a circle for the eyeball. Now, because the cornea's volume pushes the upper lid, it will be skewed to the right this time. That's how we can indicate a direction a person is looking. Once again, the eyelids have to wrap around the eyeball. Don't forget to add thickness to them. Establish an inner corner with the tear duct. Next, add an iris. It is going to look like an oval this time, instead of a perfect circle. To help yourself visualize, keep in mind that the shape of the iris sits on top of the sphere, so it will change accordingly. The further the iris is turned from the center, the narrower the oval becomes. Let's rotate the eyeball and see how it looks from different angles. Now for this one I chose a 3/4 angle. Start with a circle for the eyeball and find inner and outer corners. Next, wrap around the eyelids. Here I have a small tip for you. That might sound a bit weird, but an orange can really help you understand the eye shape. Imagine that we sliced a hole on the orange skin. Then an inner part of the orange would be an eyeball and the orange skin would be eyelids. This is something that helped me a lot when I was learning, and I hope it can help you visualize the form better. Anyways, back to the eye drawings. Add some thickness to the lid. Notice how from this angle only a part of inner corner and tear duct would be visible. Then draw an iris and a pupil. Keep in mind that the iris is not centered, so it will be skewed and look like an oval. And lastly, I want to add some folds and skin around the eye, and the sketch would be complete. For the next one, let's draw an eye looking up. Once again, I start with a circle for the eyeball and then find inner and outer corners. Rub the lids around the eyeball. Notice how the bottom lid rotates from this point of view. When drawing an iris, a good habit is to draw a full circle, or, like in this case, a full oval, and then erase the parts that are not visible. And lastly, let's draw an eye looking down. Find the corners and rub the lids around the eyeball. Don't forget to add some thickness to them. Also, take a look at how the form changes from this angle. Keeping simple forms and structure in mind will help you achieve a three-dimensional look. Of course, stylized portraits usually overlook many of anatomical details, but you can still apply the structure and deform it depending on the style. Let's summarize everything and draw eyes in 3/4 angle. Start with a sphere for the cranium and establish an angle of the head. Find the thirds of the head and attach a box shape for a jaw. When drawing eyes, a common mistake is to draw only one of them at a time. It is very easy to fall into details of the eye, and that's not really something we want. To avoid this mistake, try to keep in mind simple shapes and structure behind the face instead of just copying the outline. Now, the brow line and the eye line form an additional plane that is like a rooftop of the eye socket. This is an important structure element we need in our drawing. We kind of want. When drawing, avoid this mistake, try to keep in mind simple shapes and structure behind the face instead of just copying the outline. Now, the brow line and the eye line form an additional plane that is like a rooftop of the eye socket. This is an important structure element we need in our drawing. We can use these guidelines to help us keep in mind the perspective. All the details we draw on top of them should generally follow their direction. Let's start our drawing by finding placement for the eyes. Usually I start with finding a general shape of the eyebrows and then drawing a space between the eyes. Next, you want to find the inner corners of the eye. The general rule of thumb is that the distance between the eyes is equal to the length of one eye. Usually I just make a straight line up from the width of the nose. Next, draw the eyeballs on both sides. and then add upper eyelids. We can draw them using 3 lines. Keep in mind that they are symmetrical on both sides, so we can draw 1 line at a time and then double it on the other side. We can draw some guidelines for the upper and bottom eyelids. These guidelines should follow the direction of the eyeline and the brow line. Notice how the form will change because of the perspective. Don't forget to add thickness on both lids. Also, take a look at how from this angle the bottom of the upper lid and tear duct are visible. The eye further from us will be partially covered by the nose bridge. For this time we can just draw an indication of nose. Next, draw the iris and a pupil. Remember that if a person is looking straight ahead, the iris will be partially covered. When it comes to brows, they usually are thicker at the beginning and thinner at the end. And lastly, when I draw eyelashes, I usually imagine a simple plane that is arched in the middle. As you can see from a side view, this is how this plane would look. Try to draw lashes with big clumps of shapes, instead of drawing each lash individually. So today's mission is to practice some eye drawing. Once again, please attach your sketches in the comments. I would love to see your results. Next time we'll discuss nose structure. this class we will learn the structure of the eye and practice drawing them. But before we get into drawing eyes, let's get back to the head shape for a moment. Now that we
Oh, come on, this crash disk is full what? Good lord. It's not even that big of a deal, bruh. Good god. This is literally a new project. A new fucking... Probably because it's too hot, but dude, what can I fucking do? Okay. If it don't fucking work now, I'm ending stream, bruh. Fuck this. That's not the best shading, but you know. I don't know. That's kind of like the shape I was getting. That's funny. But yeah, this is an eye. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with the eyes. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I really